Right, I think we're live. Just going to share the stream. I hope we're all keeping well. Trading has, for the normal LSD strategy anyway, it's been a little bit dry so far. Bear with me 1 second. Right, we'll give a chance for a few people to get in here, and then we will get going. But if you're watching this on replay, we're just going to go through our usual weekly breakdown. And well, there hasn't been any trades that we can go through, so we won't be doing that. But anything that hopefully the guys in the chat want to go through, we can talk about. If not, we'll just go through our usual market breakdown. Just give a chance for a few guys to get in here first. I'm going to share it on the old Instagram. Okay. All right, yeah. We'll give a chance for people to get in here, and then we can start going through the charts. But yeah, it's been a bit dry, to be honest. The markets this week. If you haven't already heard or guessed, we are working on a new entry model / a few new rules for the strategy, which we're not releasing just yet, just because we need to be 100% on it, and we need to make sure there's sort of proof of concept before we release it. But we've been forward testing it on all the charts since start of January, and we've had ridiculous results. So let me just share my screen so you guys can see. There we go. But no, we've had ridiculous results since we started forward testing this new strategy. So, but once we're happy with it, we can we'll certainly start getting it across to you guys, and we'll make a video on it, and we'll show. Hello, how are you, mate? You all right? But yeah, like I say, we'll as soon as we have proof of concept with this new strategy, we will 100% be releasing it. But like I say, the results we've had so far do speak for themselves, and they've just been ridiculous. And we have managed to revitalize the 30-minute chart. So previously, the 30-minute chart, I don't think in the normal LSD model, I don't think there has even been a 30-minute setup that's won this year. So, but thankfully, with how we now trade it, there's been a few good ones. So, but like I say, that's for another day. But as in the case of today, we're just going to go over the charts, and if you guys have got any questions, whack them in the comments, and I can either answer them. If you've got any trades you want me to look over or setups that are nearly happening, post them in the comments and I can go over them. And yeah, hopefully we can have a decent stream. But there's no trades at the moment which are coming to fruition. We've got this 5-minute demand zone on GC. If we take any trades on the live, it'd be awesome. This NAS one lost earlier on the normal LSD model, but we are not trading that. So technically, we didn't take it, but technically with the way we trade things, you might be able to pick it up from what I've got on screen at the moment. But from the way we trade, it would still be in trade. So, but that's for another day. And same as this gold trade. But like I say, if you've got any questions, anything like that, whack them in the comments. And yes, I won't give too much away, don't worry. But other than that, we're just going to do our normal weekly market analysis. So we'll start off on GJ. We'll go right up to the daily, see what's happening. I haven't really looked a lot at a 30-minute chart, to be honest. So this is all going to be me sort of thinking out loud, if that makes sense. So what have we got? Daily. We're still in this range of the most recent low, this most recent high. Obviously, it's all pretty efficient range down here. So I would expect us to... How are we doing? We've got a big demand zone now on the daily. But hopefully, as you can see, we're clearly in a bullish trend. If that bullish trend has got to carry on, is going to carry on, we have to come up to this high at some point and break it. So J trades, don't worry. Pretend you didn't say anything. Shh. But there's actually a few rules to what we are doing, and we've been testing it since the start of January. We haven't released any trades from it, but we have been taking some in the background, obviously, because we don't want to... Let me just move my light because I'm not very bright. We don't want to... what's the word I'm looking for? We don't want to teach someone a strategy that's not got no proof of concept at the moment. Does the Iran and US talks not put you off that gold trade, especially seeing as you're shorting any random news? Well, to be honest, that gold trade we wouldn't have taken, but it's just part of our forward tests. I'm not going to go into why we wouldn't have taken it, but we actually wouldn't have taken it because it didn't meet all of our rules, our new rules. But yeah, J-Trades, close your eyes. But if Nathan was here, then he would go through all of his... But we've got so many winners, it's actually ridiculous. And the 30-minute has been popping off. Like this Germany 30 trade that tapped this morning. I'm not going to release too much here. We would still be in that. But we've been forward testing it, so we haven't taken it. But we'd still be in that according to our new rules. So I'm going to come off that now. But obviously J Trades is a bit of a goat, so he probably will pick up on what those rules are. Show GJ that I took. What, 30-minute or 5-minute? Where was it? No, I'm going to wait till Sunday to... I'm going to wait till Sunday to do anything. But for now, we're just going to go through. Yeah, the reason behind the change in strategy was the poor performance that normal LSD has had. So we thought there's got to be something wrong here. Like something's not right. How the amount of times that we would be in a trade, it whipped us out, then went in our direction. So that sort of said to us that there's got to be there's something not right here. So we sort of cross-reference with a few other strategies and sort of combine them. And like I said, since then, you can probably get from the strategy I've already shown you that the stop loss goes below the zone, but there's also some more rules to it as well. But yeah, there's some more rules to it as well. Like, for example, that gold trade, that's why we wouldn't have taken it. But as soon as we release it, you'll realize, and you'll go back test it, and it'll be ridiculous. Trust me. Yeah, we don't really need, to be honest. While we've got proof of concept through forward testing, we felt we don't really need to back test it as much because it is still based on LSD. So it is still that strategy, and we know that strategy works. It's just making a few more refinements. It's just a few more refinements, that's all. As to why and when we wouldn't take certain trades and how our entry works. If I clean my camera, because I think I'm a bit... There we go. But anyway, more on that in the coming future. The group, the VIP, launches this Sunday. I'm going to do a whole video on it, and in the latest YouTube video, you would have seen what that involves. But we're going to launch it at £35. So still, like I say, very, very affordable in my eyes, anyway, for what you get. But anyway, while we're on it, I might as well do a quick plug. But yeah, there's going to be a whole bunch of resources. So we've got a beginner trader blueprint for people who haven't traded before. We've got an independent trader blueprint for people who sort of want to take trading on their own and learn the strategy. And then we've got an advanced trader blueprint for the variances, the intricacies, and like the stuff we've spoken about today. No, we don't use WAP for the VIP. We use LaunchPass. And I think the way that works is that you pay a certain amount a month for it, and then, yeah, you keep it. You keep what you make. But we've used LaunchPass. But that launches on Sunday. And on that, we're going to get VIP live streams every week in the Discord, which will be exclusive to the Discord. I'm still going to be doing YouTube live streams as well. Yeah, $35 a month. But yeah, there's going to be resources, there's going to be cheat sheets, blueprints, everything you need, and you're obviously going to access our trades as and when we take them. So we're putting our trading on the line as well doing this. So obviously we wouldn't do it if we didn't think it was worth it, or if we weren't at least, at least being profitable with it. So, but yeah. This Sunday, don't miss it. I'm going to do a video and possibly even a live stream on Sunday as well, covering all of this new model, because we're going to launch the new model, the new LSD model with the VIP Discord. So when we trade in the VIP side of things, we'll be trading the new model. But it's been. So all those resources, cheat sheets, and everything will come with the VIP Discord. Yeah, there'll be loads in it. And the beauty of it as well is if ever those resources and cheat sheets and stuff get updated, you'll just get the updated version straight away as well. But more on that. I'm not going to get sidetracked. I'm already sidetracked enough as it is. But we're going to do our weekly market breakdown. I'm going to start off on GJ daily. We're in between these two ranges at the moment. We've just come to fill this big imbalance, and imbalance is also another big thing for this new model, but I'm not going to go into that yet. But we've filled all this imbalance. The range below it is all pretty efficient until we get to... No, it's all efficient. So in my eyes, in this range, there's no room for price to come any lower. So my intuition would say we're coming up to the top of this range now. And the way price action always works is, yeah, the new entry is going to be crazy, trust me. But the way the way price action works is it always will make the swing or finish the whole swing and then come back to correct it all. So at the moment, this is the most valid low. So what would happen at the moment is this swing has to finish, or at least break this high, to come up here somewhere for this to be the valid low. Then that will be the swing finished. well, it depends how much higher it wants to go above this, but it at least needs to break this for this low to be the new valid one. And once that swing is finished, then it will come down and correct it all. So that's the way price action normally likes to move. Obviously, as I always say, that price can do what the hell it likes. We just need to be ready for whatever the market throws at us. And as I've said in previous live streams as well, is that we need to be in a position where we've got both sides of both buy and sell sides covered, so we know what we're doing, whatever price does. Because if we remain too biased towards the direction of the market, and if it doesn't do what we want it to do, we're gonna get all emotional over it. So we always have both sides covered before we do anything. Coming down to the 4 hour to focus on this leg of price action. What's good here is that we've come out of this sort of range, so we're now definitely going bullish. In terms of demand zones, what have we got? That's sufficient. Our nearest demand zone would be this. So that would be our natural target if we was to enter any trades here. We obviously have this. That's actually now efficient. So we can actually still go up from here now, which is good. So we go down to the 30-minute. Look for an entry point. There isn't any entry points at the moment. No, there's not any entries. Is there? No, there's no entries at the moment on the 30-minute chart. But if there was, we could certainly take a bullish trade from that now. Supply zone, you know what I mean. If I'm talking quick, sometimes I'll get supply and demand mixed up, but I promise I know what the difference is. There might even be a 5-minute trade in there. So, but obviously we'll move on to the 5-minute charts a bit later. For me, there's a bit of a gap. That gap has been entered into. So I would say that's all pretty efficient down here now. There's a bit of a gap down here. So price can come down to here, but there's no entries for us here. So we sort of have to say goodbye to that one until it does give us an entry. UJ. I always find UJ is very similar to the GJ quite a lot of the time. So what have we got? We have, let me get my path tool out. High highs, high lows. We've broke that quite cleanly. Come up. Filled all of this gap, which is nice. Come down again. Have made a bit of a double bottom. But we can now trade. Get off. There we go. We are now reacting off a supply zone there. I'm not going to keep the daily zones on there because we don't draw zones on the daily. My intuition would say that this is going to be a big correction. So something like this to then continue coming down to fill a lot of the price action down here, because there are some zones and particularly this gap down here. So we can trade within this range, obviously, because we're still only on the daily chart. So we can trade within it. 4 hour. Yeah, so we're coming off a supply zone there on the 4 hour chart. There is still a supply zone there with a bit of a gap. But at the moment, we sort of need to wait for things to develop a little bit more before we start looking at entering trades. If I focus on this bit of price action alone, obviously anything we do take, this would be your highest target because it would be a double top. We've got a zone here. That's an accuracy zone. another zone below it. This would be the continuation zone. If this one failed, we'd then look to come to the extreme zone, which would be this one. So at the moment, this one's not this zone. The liquidity is a little bit far, so I wouldn't be comfortable taking that one. This one I might. This one I wouldn't mind taking because the liquidity looks pretty good on it. So if we came down to here, gave an entry, you'd target something like that up to this, up to here. Because of that double top, because of that double bottom down here, it's quite a clean double bottom as well. I wouldn't mind taking buys there. If this price came down here, so this is why we need to be not biased in one direction. If all of these zones completely invalidated and it broke this quite cleanly, we would then look for something like this. I've drawn that horrendously. That should be there. We'd look for something like that. Our setup to then go lower, and we'd target any other demand zones below it. So, but at the moment, I think we're very much bullish on it until we reach the top here, and then we can see what happens. Anything on the 30-minute. So there is a potential setup here, which would be naturally okay to take because it would be filling all of this big imbalance here. I'd have to get my tool out to see how far that liquidity is, but I think it looks all right. This would be the extreme zone. So if this one failed, kind of take it down to here. No, sorry, that's the extreme zone. Yeah, so this would be the continuation trade for this at the moment. If price got down to there, let's set a quick alert on it. There we go. So if price came down to here, I'd happily enter a position to take it to the top. Firstly, target its own highs like that. There we go, like that. So there is a potential. I'm going to mark that. So could be a potential setup. GC looks very good for a setup as well at the moment. So we've been sort of keeping an eye on this for the last 3 or 4 weeks in our live streams. And for those of you who haven't watched the previous live streams, we've got very, very clear bullish structure. This is all external structure, so we're not looking at internal structure. And we've got a huge demand zone here, which has now been filled. So naturally, there's no room for it to come any lower. So what we're looking at now is price to come up to here somewhere. And if we go down to the 4-hour zone, 4-hour time frame, just to focus on this bit of price action here, we were originally coming off this demand zone here. There we go. This demand zone here. That obviously failed, and we've now got a demand zone down here. That's not an accuracy zone. There we go, down here, which looks like it's holding at the moment. But if we go down to the 30-minute now, we had this weird sort of range going on with GC where we had the daily was bullish, show the normal model losing. No. We had this weird range going on with GC, and it lasted for ages. So we were sort of in this range of sort of creating neither higher lows or higher lows, neither higher highs or higher lows. I still got that wrong, but basically the daily was bullish, the 4-hour was bullish, and we needed to wait for the 5-minute to be bullish as well. And it sort of took ages to do anything. It ended up breaking out down the bottom. But this looks like it was a liquidity sweep for this range because it's since come back and started making higher highs and higher lows again. So as you can see, we've broken this high here, which would have been the most recent higher high. We've got big demand, we've got demand zone there. So because we've broken this high over here, I'm now happy to take buys on this because it's sorted itself out. We've sort of got out of that range. We've swept the liquidity of the range, and now we're making higher highs again. So I'm happy to take buys on this now. That's all we needed to wait for, is for it just to figure itself out. So I've got an alert here at the moment. It depends how messy this gets. If this gets too messy before it comes down to the zone, then I will avoid it. But if it comes down to the zone nice and cleanly, because we've got 1, 2, 3, lots of liquidity, equal lows, and we've got a retest of this here. If all of that got taken out, I would expect a big reaction from this zone here, and we have an imbalance down here as well. So price will at some point come down here. It's just a matter of when. So I'm happy to take that if it comes down there. We're just waiting for it. Euro USD. Nathan wants me to show the NAS trade. Okay, just this one. This is the NAS trade that everyone took this morning. And we know people took it because we're in the Discords for it. But for us, we kind of knew this was going to happen, or at least end up winning. Because what we had is we had everything we look for. We had a nice break of structure here. We had our move up. We had our 2 candle liquidity that we look for. Came up, we came down. We even had a little bit of a reaction from this liquidity as well. We tapped the zone here, and that's where the normal model traders would have got in. We would have also got in, but the difference between the old model and the new model is their entries would have been like this. So their entries would have been on the first bullish candle, but their stop loss would have been below the wick here. So 10 minutes later, they would have been stopped out. But whereas our entry is below the zone, and our entry is also at the zone. I'm giving away too much here. I might as well just show it. But our entry's at the zone, and our stop loss is below it. So we kept in it, and it has since. It's now just hit TP, as you can see there. So, but yeah, the beauty of this is we don't really have to worry about. We're not setting limit orders because we still want to be in charge of when we enter, but we are entering at the zone. As soon as it taps the zone, we're entering with magic keys. And we don't really have to worry about spreads either because we're not putting our stop losses 1 pip below wicks and stuff like that. We're just putting it below the zone. But you can see the difference there between the old model and the new model. And there is, this isn't, don't go away and start using this because this isn't the full rules. If you start using this model without knowing the rest of the rules, you're not really going to be benefiting from it. Just wait for our VIP thing. We're going to release everything in there, and then sort of a few weeks later, maybe release it on YouTube. But yeah, this is part of it. I'll give that away, but there are some more rules to it as well. But that's the difference between our new one and the that's enough source released, yes. And when I spoke about that Germany 31 earlier, exactly the same thing happened. Exactly the same thing. Right. Old model, their entry would have been there on their candle close. Their wicks would have been 1 pip below here. What happened? They get stopped out. Us, our stop loss there, our entry there, we're still in the trade. And we would have been targeting a 1 to 4 with this. So there you go. TP hit. That is the difference. When I mean it's powerful, it is unbelievably powerful. And we have seen we've sort of been having to keep it to ourselves and sort of laughing a lot behind the scenes, because a lot of the trades that we've seen people take in the Discords, not in our Discord, but the other Discords that we're members of, they've been losing. Well, they've been losing and been stopped out whilst we've still been in. And we've gone on to hit TP. So we're sort of, yeah, it's ridiculous. When I mean it's, yeah, you'll see. But let me carry on. GC, I went through that, didn't I? EU. Right, what we've got going on daily. So this is our range, obviously. I don't need to tell you that we're very bullish on it. So ignoring all the internal structure, externally making higher highs and higher lows. This is all efficient down here. So this tells me that this will end up being the next valid low. No, it is the valid low, sorry. What I mean is this is all efficient, so I don't expect this low to get too much. Sorry. I'm sorry. There are some rules to it as well. So just yeah. I haven't given away it all, so don't worry. Yeah, so I don't expect price to come down and break this low, because there's no reason for it to, because it's all efficient down there. So my intuition now says that we're now coming down to the bottom here to fill all the rest of this imbalance. So you can see here what I mentioned earlier about now this is broke. Now I'm guessing internally the structure has been broken. It's not on the daily, but internally that structure would have been broken. Once we go to the 4 hour, I'll show you what I mean. And now it's coming down. So that means that swing is now finished. So it's now coming down to fill all of the imbalance and come down to the extreme zone. So let's see if that has happened on the 4 hour. Yeah. So certainly on a 30-minute, this would be a low, and this would be a low. And your extreme zone on the 4 hours down here. So we're reacting off this. I don't anticipate this going up from here. It might well do, but I don't anticipate that happening because the swing is now finished. Because we've broken this low, I now think we're now coming down to the extreme zone. So I will completely ignore both of these zones and only be interested in when this zone down here gets tapped. So I'm actually I'm leaving them on just so I can see them. But I would expect now this extreme zone to be met. As soon as that's been met, look for our confirmation entry on the 30-minute, then take the trade to go bullish. We go down to the 30-minute. So we are very bearish on it, as you can see. Like I say, I'm not going to take. What would I do here? Well, this is all efficient. I'm just thinking out loud here, sorry. Zone there, looks like it's been tapped. So I'm not taking buys on this, purely because the 4 hour and the 30-minute are both bearish. But would I take sales at this moment? I probably would, just because it's so open down here and it's so imbalanced that I would think that. Check the 30-minute on the 5-minute. Good trade. Are you on about Euro USD? 5-minute. Check. You mean this trade here? Oh, this supply here. Okay. No. You're on about supply. This here, I'm guessing what you're looking at. Right. Yeah, that'd be a good trade. And if I took that on the 5-minute, obviously targeting this low. But I would be happy taking sells on that because of the 30-minute and the 4-hour both being bearish. So obviously on the 5-minute, we wouldn't target down here because it's too far away. But on the 30-minute, if a trade developed up here, I would certainly be targeting this zone with the anticipation of that zone breaking, because I'm expecting us to go way lower than that. So I'm expecting Euro USD to be bullish or bearish, sorry, for quite a while now until we come down to here. So especially as we've broke this low here. So we're making lower highs and lower lows now. So yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, that's confirmed what I was thinking. I wouldn't take buys on this. I'd be happily take sales into these demand zones, but not expecting these demand zones to do anything. I just wouldn't want to target past them just in case they do something, if that makes sense. Because we still need to have that double bias either side. Daily, we'll go to AJ. So yeah, Euro USD. Just to sum that up, yes, I would take that sell if that developed in the next few minutes. Actually, I want to keep an eye on it. Let's set an alert on it. Thank you for pointing that out for me. It's got a little bit of imbalance in there as well, so that's good. Let me mark that up. So if that hits, you guys can let me know and we can take it together. But it's got to hit within the next 15-20 minutes. So back to AJ. Back to AJ. Obviously bullish. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to work that out. Just broke this high. So our range now is here and here. I wouldn't say that's broken any lows in there internally. So we're still bullish on that, I think. Yeah, we're still bullish on this pair. Because we don't know how big this swing is going to be. This swing could go up here somewhere. As soon as it starts breaking, as soon as it starts making lower lows and lower highs, internally, I would be happy to take sells down to, well, this is the extreme zone down here on the 4-hour. And I wouldn't expect price to come below that because it is the extreme zone. Let me get rid of that because that's just confusing the situation. But I need to wait for that to confirm that this swing is finished. As soon as this swing is finished, and we know it's finished by making lower lows and lower highs, I'll then be taking sells for it to come down to here. And that's a case of, it's sort of the exception that goes with the rule, if that makes sense. So you can take counter trend trades as long as you're taking the trade into the longer term. So in this scenario, we'd be taking a shorter term sell into the longer term buy, and that's okay. That's the only reason you'd take a counter trend trade. Otherwise, I wouldn't. But it needs to confirm, it needs to tell me that this swing is finished first before I do anything, because I don't know how big that swing is going to be. So at the moment, we're still bullish, and I'd still happily take continuation trades to continue that, and until it started making lower lows and lower highs, then I'd know the swing is finished. So 4-hour, we've got the extreme zone here. Yeah, extreme zone here. This is our range. We've got no more zones down here. There's imbalance there as well. So yeah, I'd expect at some point price to come down here. Don't know when, but at some point for that to happen. There's also some very little imbalance here. I've got a zone there as well. I wouldn't take that. And the reason I wouldn't take that is because it's The reason I wouldn't take it is because by then this swing is finished. Structure is now bearish, so therefore I'm waiting for this zone here. 30-minute. Like I say, I'd be looking for buys at the moment, but there's no. It looks all efficient. Yeah. So this is actually our next zone, and I wouldn't take it because it's got no liquidity in front of it. Our next trade that we could potentially take would be here, but by that point, I wouldn't want to take a buy because it'd be too bearish for me. So unless a buy happened up here, I'd happily take that, but I'm not going to take a buy that happened all the way down here because it'd be too close to that higher time frame zone that we're looking at. So Swiss franc JPY or Chef JPY, whatever you want to call it. This is our range. Yeah, obviously bullish. 4 hour. This is all efficient. So I'd expect us to now come up here or to be heading towards this. This is a continuation trade. This is the extreme zone. Or is it the extreme zone? Yes, because there's no open price. So this is the extreme zone. But again, a little bit of more source. Our new model, or the old model, or the old LSD. This would be invalidated with ours. We'd take it and would still be in a nice bit of profit at the moment. With this, we'd get in here. TP1 at the top. Well, a 1 to 3. Yeah, TP1 at 1 to 3. And then I would expect that bullish trend to carry on. So my TP2 would be at a 1 to 6 at the top here. Because that bullish trend, if that bullish trend is going to carry on, which it looks like it will, because what are the chances of us finding the change in trend now? If it's going to carry on, that high's got to be broken at some point. So we're just taking the continuation to that. And then as soon as this high is broken, I actually explained this to my brother earlier. We've got on the 4 hour. Again, it's what I've been saying. At the moment, this low here is not valid because this high hasn't been broken. So what I was talking about earlier is that the swing needs to finish before it then, or not always, but the swing normally likes to finish before it comes and corrects it all. So we've got higher highs, higher lows, like this. This would be a continuation to come up here, like that. We'd break this high, and then we'd have to wait for something like this to happen. So break this low to confirm that that swing is now over. Come down, meet the extreme of this swing, then take take this. So that's how I'd anticipate this happening. Soon as this high is broken here, this is then moved up to there because that's now the most recent low. And this swing is now finished once this low gets broken. I hope that makes sense. But that's how I envisage it. So this trade, again, okay to take. Yeah, okay to take this trade. Like that. And this would be the extreme that would be targeting a lot later on. So if you are on the stream, hit the like button. Please do us a massive favour. Thank you. If you are enjoying it. And if you've got any questions or trades you want me to look at, get them in the comments and I will answer them for you. But without further ado, we're forward testing that. That's one we're forward testing as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. GN, daily, what we got going on. See, stuff like this where I just have to look at it for a little bit before I start talking. So this is the low there, because what we've got is this high, this low, this high. I'm talking about external structure, not internal structure. Internal structure is completely different. But when I look at the daily, I only look at external structure because internal doesn't mean anything. If I want to look at internal structure, I'd go down to the 4 hour, and that's what I do that for. So excluding that because we're no longer in that swing. So take that zone away. The extreme to this swing here is, let me go down to the 4 hour. Yeah, there's a zone down here. So that would be the extreme to this big swing here. And it looks like we're now coming down to it, to fill it, to then continue bullish. We know this swing is finished because this low got broken quite cleanly. So my trading knowledge would tell me that we're now coming down to this extreme zone. We don't take trade, as I've said before, we don't take trades off these extreme zones. We look for reactions from them, confirmation, and then take trades. Do you know why the NAS 5 minute at 10:40 this morning invalidate? So, prelude, if you go back about 20 minutes in the stream, we covered that, but I will cover it right now for you. Now, at the moment, we are currently testing a new model. I'm not going to bore everyone else with it because they've already seen it. But your entry would be here, your stop loss would be here, and you'd be targeting there. That lost, but with our entry model, because we enter on the zone with our stop loss below the zone like that, that's not the normal LSD model. That's the model we're testing, and we'd still be in the trade and we'd have hit TP. But the reason we're testing that is because so many times in the last year where we've been wicked out and it's gone in our direction. So we've come out of the trade and it's still gone in our direction and would have hit TP. So we were trying for ages to come up with some ways around it as to what price could be doing, because the original thought process behind this entry model that RD had is that when we get a wick into the zone, that's orders being filled by big institutions. So you get a strong reaction from it. And so naturally, when you get a wick, that's confirmation that those orders have been taken. You then wait for the first bullish close, you take the trade. But in my eyes, I don't see a problem with taking the zone, because institutions would take the trades out of the zone as well. They wouldn't. Institutions aren't waiting for the first bullish close. They're taking trades here as well. So I have no problem doing what they do, because at the end of the day, our job as retail traders is trying to align ourselves as much as possible with those. So if we can do what they do and get in out of zone with our stop loss below it, we're still in the trade. We're taking their trades, basically, because there's so many times where, because I think this LSD model is so well known now, I'm convinced that the institutions and stuff have picked up on it. I'm convinced, because there's so many times where we get our entry, so many retail traders are now entering that's not leaving enough. That's not leaving enough positions. What's what I'm looking for? That's not leaving enough contracts for the big institutions to fill their positions now, because there's so many retail traders using this new supply and demand strategy that now it's to a point where institutions can't get in here. They have to wait for the retail traders to get in, then use them as liquidity. So that's why you see this all the time. So this reaction here isn't institutional traders. This is all supply and demand traders now, because the strategy is so popular. So retail institutions see that, now use them as liquidity and go deeper into the zone. But if you can have your stop loss below it, you're trading with them. So I think that's one of the refinements that we've made. And that's the difference between so many winning trades at the moment. It's unbelievable. I can't even list them all because there's been so many. But I think now the supply and demand is so popular that retail traders are causing these. And because there's so many retail traders taking those trades, that's not leaving enough positions for the institutions to take theirs. So they're now having to use us as liquidity, which is why so many times we get a wick into the zone, we get our entry, the next candle comes down, wicks below it because it wipes all of them out, and then it goes in our direction. So that's why we've moved over to this entry model. There are some rules to it as well, which I have explained in the live stream. There are some rules to it. So don't just take this and run with it. There are some conditions that need to be met before that. But that's all going to be explained on Sunday. So in our Discord, if you're not in it, the link should be in the description of this live stream. Actually, what I can do is, bear with me. Sorry, 1 second. 1 second. If you're not in the Discord, there we go. Click that link there. That will take you to our Discord. And on Sunday, the VIP Discord goes live, and this whole entry model goes live with it. So you'll learn everything you need to know then. So check it out. On Sunday. Yeah. So before I get started, where was I? GN. I think we covered ourselves on that, didn't we? I know one of you said AUD USD. That's not one of our pairs. We don't trade that. So I don't look at that. See how this Euro USD trade is doing. This is one I'm actively looking at. If this comes up to here, I'll happily take that. UK 100 just looks like a barcode at the moment on the lower time frames, but it is bullish nevertheless. 4 hour, we've got a zone here with a lot of imbalance in front of it, with a decent level of liquidity. So if price was to come cleanly down to here now, I'd wait for a reaction off of it, wait for the confirmation on the 30-minute chart, then take it. That's all efficient. That's efficient. There's no liquidity in front of this one, so I'll ignore it. Nice, thank you. Yeah, so once the VIP will go live on Sunday, and this whole entry model will be explained in that. And with the VIP thing, you'll be able to take the same trades we take, and there'll be a ton of resources and everything. So let's go down to the 30-minute. But I'm convinced, like I said, that normal liquidity supply and demand strategy, that is now picked up on by the institutions. I'm convinced of it because it's so popular now that they know. And there's so many traders doing it that they're having to use them as now liquidity. So which is why we've adjusted our strategy for it. 30-minute. We've got a continuation trade here, which has got some imbalance in it. But that's not a clean break of high. So that to me could just be a double top. So I wouldn't take that trade unless it come up here somewhere. That's our next zone. But the liquidity is now too far away, so I wouldn't take that either. So with this top zone, this would be the continuation trade to the pair or UK 100. What I'd have to wait for is we've got a nice push away. We've got a good, decent level of liquidity. I just need to break this close above it cleanly. So this is all just wicks above it. So that to me is just a double top. I need to come up here, then come back to the zone. Then I'll happily take that. UJ 5 min, just one. Nice. What was that? What are we looking at? Nice, this trade here. And you didn't tell me about it? Why did no one tell me about it? It's my fault. I should have looked. Nice. So yeah, you've got a nice trade there. Making higher highs, higher lows. This is a continuation trade. We've come down. We've made this mini swing. We've broken this high to confirm the change that this swing has finished. So now we're coming up to continue the trend. But that looks good. That's a textbook trade. And in this case, the old liquidity supply and demand model would have worked. It'd be absolutely fine. But with us, so let me compare it. Stop loss below there to the high, 3.1. With us, 3.3. So yeah, that's another beauty. That's another advantage of this new model as well. You get better risk to rewards. Depends on the size of the zone. That's the pros and cons behind it. If the bullish close is a very small candle, then we won't get a better entry. But if the zone is nice and small and you get a large rejection candle, we do get a much better entry. So that's neither here nor there. But that's a very good trade. Very good one. Thanks that no one told me about it. Checking. GJ. With GJ, I start my top-down analysis on the 30-minute. No, the 4-hour, sorry. Then I go to the 30-minute, then the 5-minute. So I do exactly what I've just done on the 30-minute pairs. So daily 4-hour, 30-minute. But if I'm on the 5-minute, I go 4-hour, 30-minute, 5-minute, if that makes sense. So let's see what we've got. We know GJ is bullish because of the previous top-down analysis that we did. What have we got? Zone here, that's invalidated. It's all efficient up here. There's no zones up here. It's all efficient. So if we break this high here, like that, what do we? No, because I don't know actually. We're not breaking any highs at the moment, so I probably wouldn't take this until we did. But you've got a nice zone here, and you'd take it just up to this high here, the first high, just to be safe. So it'd be something like that. But you've also got some open imbalance and a zone down there as well. So that's the extreme. There. But I would have to wait for this high. This high looks very, very prominent. So I'd have to wait for that to be broken before I take anything. Because it's just because we've come up so high on it. So we've come up so high, that could easily just react from there and come down. I'd have to wait for it to break before I do anything, I think. Just to be on the safe side. If I took a buy down here, who's to say that's not just going to come down here and make lower lows? because if you go up to the high time frames, it is now bearish because we've broken this low. We've got all of this. We've got a gap here, imbalance here, and we've got a zone down here. Who's to say it's not just going to come down to here? Because we are bearish. So this swing is now finished. So I now expect price to come down and fill it all. So I wouldn't take buys on this because it's not. There's no confirmation for me to take buys on it until we break this high. So that's GJ. If there was a sell that developed in there somewhere, then I wouldn't mind taking it, but I would only take it to these zones. That's the only thing. Euro USD, very good trade that just played out there. There to the high. Oh no, it would have been a 1 to 4. There, like that. So yeah, that's a very good trade that just played out. So if you took that, nice one, well done. That's a nice 1 to 4 in the bag. If someone would have told me, I would have done it, taken it as well. To be fair, it's my fault because I should have had my alerts on. GC, what we got going on? We've established we're bullish. We're waiting for this zone here. So on the 5 minute, I won't take any buys because we're too close to this big zone here. I could take a sell into this zone if this got confirmed. So what would be the low? It'd be that. So if that got broken, I would then look for this. So something like that to then take it down to here. And then your zone and your imbalance would be here, like that. I'd then take that because it's telling me that the swing is finished, and I'm targeting this zone anyway because I'm expecting the longer term buy, so I can take a sell into it. But I'd have to wait for that low to be broken first because you see it's just reacted perfect off of it. So that at the moment could still go up, but if it broke it, then that would tell me that it's the first signs of it is starting to reverse. Euro USD doesn't look like it's going to tap anytime soon. I need that to come up. We have got a buy. I'm not going to take the buy because we're bearish, but it looks like price is coming down to here to then come up to here. I'm waiting for this sell trade. I'm not taking the buy because this can, if we took the buy, this can just come down here. The buy is to come up to this sell zone to then take the longer term, if that makes sense. NAS, what's the time at the moment? 2 o'clock. So we're half an hour away from open. As we've covered, that trade was a nice winning trade that we forward tested this morning. What we got at the moment? Are we any more zones that we can buy from? No. I'm not really a futures trader, to be honest. So I know a lot of people will be looking at zones here, like normal supply and demand traders and stuff like that. So, but yeah, 30 minute. Yeah, we're coming off that big ass supply there now. So this one here, we've not closed above it. Oh, we're not, because no, you say that. No, I disagree. Or do I? We've not broken this low, so technically we're still bullish. We've not broken that low there. So technically we're still bullish. I don't know. I need NAS to sort itself out and throw something up for me to start analysing it because we've just taken a trade and we've got loads of imbalance up here still left to fill, but there's nothing on it at the moment. gold. What we got? This is the one we were forward testing as well. There's no liquidity in front of this. There's only one candle liquidity, and we don't do that no more. But we're just forward testing. It's not that we're testing. We're testing the zones. That's what we're forward testing. So that's why you can see a lot of these. You can see I've drawn out a lot of these that aren't really trades, but I'm not testing the trade. I'm testing the zones. Yeah, that would have won. Germany 30. This is one that we took. Or would have taken. Forward tested, sorry. That's nicely done in profit at the moment. What's Bitcoin doing? 67,000. Lol. No, I'm gonna end the stream there because I've gone through everything and there's no more questions by the look of it. I've put the Discord link in the comments. So if you want to come and join the Discord, click that, come and join it. If not, it will be in the description of this live stream when it goes out as a video, which will be straight after. So hang around to come and join it and hang around until Sunday where all will be revealed for this new strategy. And yeah, I look forward to releasing all the source with it. So yeah, it's been a good live stream. So thank you for everyone that came and joined. And there'll be another video, a YouTube video, go live tomorrow, which I'm about to record after this live stream. But other than that, thank you all for joining, and I will leave it there. And come and join the Discord for Sunday and look out for the new video tomorrow. So I will see you all later.